Welcome to another impactful and amazing segment of Insights with PT. For those listening for the very first time, as always, it's your girl Tammy here with JHV's very own Pastor T.
It's your boy PT.
Yeah. And we'll be discussing those gray areas when it comes to our faith and how we navigate them. So PT, you ready to dive in?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, let's go. So, can you share a time when you felt like God was silent?
It's been a while now, because over the years, I've realized that God's timing is not the same thing as our own timing.
Yeah.
Do you understand? And if one does not if you don't know God's timing, you do a lot of things outside of His timing. And you might not get the best result. That does not mean that God has not approved it.
Yeah.
You understand? So when God, keeps quiet, as it were, to me, I always know that it's probably not His time yet. And there have been quite a number of, prayers that I've prayed, and it seems like nothing was up.
Yeah.
It can be very tough and challenging, but the truth is that we just have to understand that the way God works is not the same way that we work.
Yeah, very true. Now, during this time of God's silence, was there any type of emotions? I know you mentioned that it was very tough, but were there any emotions that you had to wrestle with during this time?
Yeah. You at times you look inwards, and you search yourself, just to be able to understand where you are with God.
Yeah.
And where probably you are with what you are believing Him for, at that time. The emotions will go all over the place, because we as human beings, we live in time, and we always ascribe time to many things that we want done, by God for us. And because of that, if you're not careful, anxiety can, creep in. At times, you can begin to self-doubt yourself, and start wondering, okay, am I on the right path? Is God pleased with me? Or why has God kept silent concerning this case? So a lot of things happen. But the most important thing I tell people is that you have to learn to keep your peace with God. Knowing very well that no matter what happens, he has your back.
Yeah.
You understand? Not all prayers, this might be a bit controversial, but not all prayers will God answer immediately.
That's fact.
Because heaven also checks out whether you are ready
For
what you are asking for. And because they see not just the beginning, they also see the end. So they have to be careful that where you are right now in the middle, open to hear from God on a particular matter, might not work out with the end where they are taking you to. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Let's give a good example of Joseph. If Joseph had prayed that his brothers should not sell him out, you can imagine what would have happened. Number one, he would never have gone to Potiphar's house. That's number one. You understand? If Joseph had prayed that Potiphar's wife should not try to seduce him and or they should not send him to prison, he would never have found himself in prison. It was in prison that he found somebody that spoke to the king, for the king to remember him. Now, all these are part of God's plan. But Joseph didn't see that. So at times, there are prayers that we are praying that if we see the end, it's more like we are trying to negate where God is taking us to. So what God does is that rather than say anything to you, everyone will just keep quiet.
Right.
You understand? And in keeping quiet, they are hoping that you will make the right decision. And the decision really is to wait.
Yeah. So then I guess, how did you find peace in this waiting time period as well too? How did you find peace?
I think sometimes ago I preached, a message, what do you do while waiting?
Mm.
Do you understand? And part of the things that I said there is that you wait by faith. Do you understand? Faith does not disappoint. And that is why you can find peace while you are waiting. You're waiting on God. You can find peace there. I also said that when you wait, you must wait with expectation and hope. Do you understand? Abraham, the Bible says that he believed God against hope.
Yeah.
He believed God that was going to have that child. Yeah. So you need hope and you need expectation. So that peace comes from you expecting that God knows the best for you. When the scripture says something like, I know the thoughts that I have towards you. They are thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you a hope and a future. This is where you find your peace, because you know that this God will not give you a serpent when you ask for bread. Yes, so he might not be saying anything right now, but eventually when he speaks or when he acts, it will be for your benefit. It will be for your benefit.
To all the viewers, I hope you all locked in with us. We're listening, we're paying attention. Again, as always, if you have any topics, any themes, any questions that you want to be discussed right here on Insights with PT, go ahead and send them to the email address insightswithpt@JesusHouseBaltimore.org. It's been a pleasure. It's been a blessing. As always, it's your girl Tammy signing out with PT. We will catch you all next time. Bye.
God bless.